Right. Hey. So, it's been a little bit. As I said, I was going to make the funeral video next. Let me get this. Yeah. There we go. That should be a little better. Right. So, I went to the funeral for my cousin. It was an experience, one that was worth having. Everybody that showed up was largely, directly related to him. His ex-wife, his current wife of, like 5 days, 3 days. I don't know. They've been going out for like 3 months. I don't even know. Anyway, my uncle was there. My cousin was there. The cousin with whom I probably share a closer kinship than, I suppose, any of my others. My younger cousin, a female cousin, and my other cousin's wife. Now, the male cousin, the one with whom I share a kinship, he's a few years younger than the rest of us. And he's a pretty stand-up dude. He's a good guy. He's a teacher, actually. And not in the primary school system. He teaches at one of the secondary schools. Technical school, I guess you might say. I don't know what the international term would be. But it'd be like the school where perhaps, say, someone who might have dropped out but wants to come back in and maybe learn a trade, maybe, I don't know, get their life in order. It's the kind of thing that someone in that kind of position would do, and he's done a lot. He's done a lot for a lot of people that had trouble in the main systems. He's a good dude. He knows his stuff, and he cares. And there's really something to be said for that, because there are too few that care. So then, he was there, my uncle. Bless his soul. Oh, he's a better man than I would expect of someone in his position. He's done well. He's very astute. Takes care of himself, takes care of his family, and he's a good father. He's a good man. He's pretty lefty, though. So what you gonna say? Me, I'm I don't know. I guess I'm a right-leaning libertarian. It is what it is. But hey, so and if you're curious, yeah, I do kind of have a droopy, thing. It is what it is. Don't judge me. All right. Anyway, so he was there. My young female cousin was there. She's a great gal. She was a corporate lawyer for a time, if I'm not mistaken. Anyway, and then my other cousin's wife. He's a banker. Yeah, I know, right? Hello, me, smoking cat with the guns in the background and barely making it all come together. I got like bankers and lawyers in my family. But hey, I am keeping it together. So, I'm pretty pleased with that. Things could be better, but they could be ever so much worse. I mean, look around here. I've got a pretty alright office. And hey, I'm alive. And, well, that counts for something. And you know what? Things are getting a little better. So, let's see here. It's my male cousin. That's my uncle. And this is all like real, in a nutshell kind of deals. I'm not giving anything away. I don't want any of these cats be well known out there on the internet for who they truly are. Because, I don't know, I'm what's the term? Pretty acerbic. I think that acerbic is the term. Anyway, I'm at the very least abrasive. So, the other one, my cousin's wife, she was there. She's a good lady. She's doing her damnedest to be the best mom she can in a world that wants to make bad moms. She's trying, and you really, really got to respect that. She did real well with her daughter, and her son. Well, he needed a little bit more work, but he's finally got that work, and he's a smart kid. He's a real smart kid. He's really gonna go somewhere someday. He was a little bit behind, but that was all due to just some difficulties in speaking and understanding. Those have been largely wrapped up, and man, he's right on point. He's right on point. He's gonna be doing really good. So let's see here. I guess that pretty much wraps up the immediate family in regards to this. There was my cousin, like once or twice removed. Not 100% sure how exactly the family line leads up. But he's, I'm like libertarian, right? He's like, right. So, he's good people. He's, true to the core, but, if you're outside the family, he's probably, he's not going to care so much about you, we'll say that much. That being said, it's good folks. So, here we are. I had to work that day, as I often have to do. I'd talked to him, let him know what I needed to do, and I'd go to the funeral and everything. And so I went. Got off a little early. Came home. I had a couple drinks. I don't know, had a smoke or two. That's what you got to do in these kind of situations. I mean, it's my cousin. And like I said in the previous one, kind of a piece of shit. But it is what it is. And he's family. You got to do the right thing. So, I show up. Had myself a couple drinks. His mom didn't make it. Well, he'd, suffice it to say, he had done her badly wrong for a long time now. Did my mama real wrong for a long time. Did a lot of people wrong. Did me wrong. But you got obligations. You got to do the right thing. And I got no regrets. I'll tell you that. So, you do the right thing, and, you go and you do these things that you might not necessarily want to do. Because it's family. Family matters. For the, I don't know. I don't know how many people this is going to reach, but I hope it reaches a few. You got family, and family matters. And, well, yeah, I know. Lots of weird pauses. I do these things in one take, so. Yeah, it is what it is, right? So, hey. You really do have to keep your family in point, even if everybody falls apart and things have gone bad. Say you got abusive family. You cut that out. That's a cancer. You don't want cancer in your life, right? So, you take care of that. You get rid of it. And when the time comes and that cancer is excised from this world, you go. And even if you got no respects to pay, you say your goodbyes. Because if nothing else, you're closing a chapter in the book. Even if it's a bad chapter, it's a chapter in the book in your life. And that closure will bring you more peace than you know. So, we are going to pull back. We got my one cousin there, first time removed, whatever. His mom got, in with a really nice guy. Knew my dad. Did deliveries with him back in the day. And treated her like a princess. And he was taken from the world too early. As good men often are. So, I arrive. I've seen all these folks. I see his ex-wife. I knew him for... knew her. No gender silliness here. Knew her for some while. She's put on a couple pounds. I'm pretty much the same old kind of chubby cat that I have been. Got a little bit more firmness underneath the chub, but hey, years and time firm up anybody if you let them. Anywho, anyway, it's been a long day, guys. You got to forgive me here if I ramble, but I feel like doing a rambling thing, and I promised that I would say this story, and it's a decent story, and that's where this all came from. Just telling stories, so here we are. Right. Okay. So, I've arrived. He's going to be getting the full Marine, oh, Lord, I don't know what you call it. Like, honors, regalia, I don't know. It is what it is. So, there's these guys. They're dressed up. I mean, they're not Shriners, but they've got, kind of that same thing. Red coat and, respectful thing. They're greeting people as they come in. He gets a lot of people that come through. A few I've met. I don't see a lot of his old friends from here around town, which is kind of sad. I mean, I even ran with those cats for a while. But hey, people move on. Maybe they got done wrong by him too. And hey, he's not their family. He's mine. So, I go up, and, it is what it is. When you're a place like that, and you're trying to pay your respects, the mood of the thing catches you. And, well, I won't lie. My eyes got a little watery, and I wasn't quite at the point of shedding tears, but I'll tell you what, I was a little choked up seeing him. He looked as good as I'd ever seen him when he was in there, which is real sad because the last time I saw him, he looked real greasy. He looked real bad. He was desperate. And there wasn't anything I could do for him. He was trouble. He's been trouble for years. But hey, I sent him on his way with at least something. Gave him a couple dollars I had and hoped he could get his situation resolved. I imagine I'll tell you that story at some time too. For now, that's not the time for that story. It's the time for this story. So, well, he looked better than he had when I'd seen him, and even in pictures I'd seen of him. He, as I told you in the last one, he'd overdosed earlier in the day, and he overdosed again that evening. My cousin, the one who I told you was right, he took him to the hospital first time, and then his wife, a short term, had woken up next to him, and, well, I don't have adequate words to speak of her, and I don't want to speak ill of a mourning widow, but she's done nothing to earn my respect or the respect of my family. We'll just leave it at that for now. That being said, I went up. I wasn't going to go up to him. I kept about 4 feet from that coffin. because I got no respects to pay. I'm just doing my duty because it's the right thing to do. And, it catches me. The moment of the thing, the loss of somebody that he had a lot of potential. Wasted, obviously. But he had a lot of potential. I was hoping one day to hear a story from him about how he felt bad about how he'd done so wrong by so many folk. That story's never coming. But that is what it is. So, we move on. Turn around. See my cousin there. The right one. And he's hurting. He's hurting really bad. I took hold of his hand, took him into a hug, and there wasn't anything I could say to him. There's nothing you can say in a time like that, because those two were real close. He took him in even after all everything that he'd done, because he never did him wrong, as far as I know. But well, there's a moment we shared there where there wasn't a need of words to be said. I gave him the best embrace that kin can give, from one adult to another, and I'd like to think it gave him some peace in an unpeaceful time. So I suppose I am rambling here. But that's about really the extent of the funeral. I went back, I took my seat. The preacher came up. He said fine, kind words that my mother, she didn't go to his funeral. As I said, he'd done my mama real wrong. Her mother, real bad wrong. And, well, I know I got a lot of uhs in here, and I know people are going to give me shit about it. And I really don't care, because, like I said before, I do these things in one take, and I do it off the cuff. And I want to give you the realest story I can give. Because that's me. That's my story, and I'm just trying to share it with all of you. So my mother didn't make it, and his mother didn't make it. And they said some fine and kind things about my cousin. And, well, there's some things that they caught my breath in the back of my throat. And not in a way that chokes you up. In a way that makes your heart race and makes your blood boil. They said things too kind about that fella. I'll not go into the details. I've shared that with the parties that need to know. But they said many good things about him, as you do at a funeral. And I held my tongue, as a cat is wont to do with catching tongues. Well, anyway, I held my tongue. I didn't say anything. I balled up these little claws and dug him into that pew a little. But I didn't say any words, and I wasn't unpleasant in any way, as it's not the case and not the place for a person to be unpleasant at the death of a family member, no matter how unpleasant things had become. So then, I waited it out. The Marines, they came, they paid their respect, they all gave their salutes, walked out and passed. And I went out. The one cousin, the one with whom I'm close, he's also a big 2A guy. I've yet to take him out to the range with me, but we'll get a chance. Us two cats will go out there and pew pew! Have a good old time, as we do. If you're curious about my accent, deal with it. You're going to have to figure out where it's from and from whence it is derived. Now then, I went out and we talked for a while. Matter of fact, about 2.5 hours. Had to cut short our conversation because I had to go and get my paycheck and put it into the bank before they closed. But we spoke about things, and I informed him about many things, which I imagine I'll share those stories with you in time. About how things had gone with my cousin. The wrongs he'd done me and done others, as I knew him. And it gave him some insight into things. He'd only been briefly made aware of what my cousin had done. And, well, he knew he'd done wrong. He didn't know how bad. But it gave him a better insight. And gave us both some closure. We stood there, we talked for some long while. Neither of us was wont to go to the grave site and hear the final words and see him laid to rest. I know the place. I might go see him. I might go... Well, I might be unkind to his gravesite, we shall say. Perhaps I'll plant a seed. Perhaps not. Well, that will be a story for a day yet to pass. Now then, we stood, we talked, discussed things, and how things were going in his life and with his wife. He's, I don't know if there's some sort of term for it, and I genuinely don't care. He's in a marriage with a wonderful woman, and what I know of her, she's one of the finest people I've met. She, to hear him say it, she completes him. She's good people. And I'm glad to have her as a member of my family. Her mom was a cop. Right. And, pretty decent one from what I know. Her dad, professor? I think. And my cousin, I know. His dad, well, my uncle's a noteworthy fella. Not the most noteworthy, not the least, but he did some good works. Lefty that he is, he's got a heart of gold. He does what he does because he cares about people and he wants to make the world a better place. Nowadays, he's a property owner of all things, and it's a good one. He's not a scummy landlord at all. He really takes care of his people and takes care of his tenants. We should all be so lucky to have such folks in our lives. I am blessed. And I appreciate that. I try to, at the very least. You know? But hey. We talked. I imagine at some point we'll go and visit that grave, the two of us. Maybe even, I don't know. I don't imagine either one of us got anything to pour out for him. Other than to say our final piece at his place of rest. He's laid down next to other members of my family, as we've got a family plot. So, kind of a southern kind of tradition. My papaw, he was a southern fella. Gentleman, you might say. Interesting type. And again, more stories from more days. As I suppose I wanna do this. It's gonna be stories. It's the heart of me. It's the heart of all of us. And in due time, maybe you'll hear all my story. There's a little black cat. Well, we're going to call this story a wrap for tonight. It's late. I've got a show tomorrow. Hell, I got a show today. Feel free to tune into that at any time. There's links to my Twitter. It's all in the bio there. But this is not about that. This is about saying goodbye to somebody that was never really a good person. But hey. All people pass and all things come to pass. And all things pass and things are as they are. And, well, don't build your castles on sand. Keep your eyes peeled and be safe out there. All my heart, all my love. And yes, I know this was kind of a non-ender. A lot of the real stories, they just kind of stop. Like lives wasted. Well, see you soon.